At the end of the day, there are some real egregious pieces here. Moving forward with entitlement programs at a time when we have record inflation, implementing more welfare without work requirements at a time where we're lacking workers, our production is suffering, we're seeing issues in the supply chain as a result. That is only going to exacerbate the problems if they implement many pieces of this agenda. So I think we need to stand strong against it. And I'll say it's not just this that Republicans have been able to defeat this year. Remember, they tried to push packing the court. They wanted to push radical election law changes. They wanted to use taxpayer money to fund campaigns. They wanted to implement anti-police legislation. We stood strong against it, and those were their top priorities, and we defeated them.
You bring up the supply chain because we're all feeling the effects of it, but not according to the White House. Take a look at what White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain was tweeting this about the supply chain crisis. Merry Christmas to all, and to this overhyped narrative, a good night. When asked if it showed the White House was out of touch with Americans, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff Karl Rove had this to say. Watch.
How disconnected is the White House to the American people?
Well, I think awfully disconnected. Look, remember, these are the people who said COVID-19 was going to be in the rearview mirror by the 4th of July and who called the inflation that we're experiencing transitory and dismissing it as not needing any attention or action.
Congresswoman, your response.
Yeah, I mean, it is completely out of touch. People are paying record amounts for, gas, for food. We're seeing everything across the board going up. Certainly, shelves are less stocked than they were last year, even when it comes to medications and things that we need to fight the pandemic. They're talking about the lack of having the tests available. But what about monoclonal antibodies? What about medications? All of that is being impacted by the supply chain issue. And by the way, they're telling me, the industry leaders, when we had a roundtable a couple weeks ago, that it will get worse if the president's vaccine mandates go into effect because they will lose more workers and there will be less production, and we'll see a bigger issue with the supply chain if that goes forward.